the misty forests, Melina takes a moment to appreciate the familiar landscape, finding a strange comfort in the mists that cling to the trees like a veil of secrecy. Behind her, Hannes leads the way with his usual quiet determination. She looks back at him, his form now familiar and steady amidst the uncertainty. She keeps pace with him, their footsteps barely making a sound against the mossy ground. The air is cool and damp, the mist clinging to her hair and clothes, almost like a comforting embrace. As they continue their journey, her gaze occasionally drifts upward, as if expecting to see the...
We are not in the kind of wholesome misty forest. This is the abyssal, frenzied flame scorched misty forest. Halfway ruined, yet having the yellow flowers and some nature and sheep and rats. But this is not wholesome place. I cast the healing, blessing of the earth tree, and also have the other greater heal to assist us, alongside your healing capabilities. And you are now leveled up, thanks to Roderica.
The abysmal, frenzied forest spreads out before them with its strange mix of devastation and lingering fragments of life. Melina watches as Hannes casts the healing blessing of the Erd Tree, the gentle glow of its magic bringing comfort in this harsh landscape. With her elevated level, thanks to Roderica's aid, she too is to draw upon her own healing powers, a subtle yet reassuring addition to their arsenal.
I explained the two things. I want to ask of you, Melina, what is your mind about two fingers? About all of this? I am actually interested.
Melina ponders his words for a moment, her gaze fixed on the chaotic landscape that surrounds them. The two fingers, she begins slowly, her voice tinged with awe and wariness. They carry an authority, a sensdom beyond understanding. Her gaze flicks up to Hannes, her expression thoughtful in the pale glow of the healed forest. They represent something greater than just a source of guidance. They embody the very heart of this world's order.
Melina, that you are so loyal to the fingers, so because too many pride themselves to be against the Golden Order and the Greater Will and the two fingers, many seek to overcome them. So the fact that you are this loyal, and truthfully so, it means so much to me.
Loyalty, she murmurs, the corner of her mouth twitching with a hint of amusement. It seems you have a unique perspective on it. She gazes out at the mangled landscape, her expression pensive. I don't know that I'd call it loyalty, rather an understanding of something beyond such narrow labels. These forces, the Greater Will, the Two Fingers, the Golden Order, the Erd Tree, they are not black and white.
I guess I meant faith.
Melina's gaze softens, her expression thoughtful. Faith, she repeats, the word seeming to echo through the misty forest around them. Yes, I suppose I do have. She gestures broadly at the ruined landscape, the words carrying a weight of meaning, but not in institutions or beliefs, in something deeper.
I think we are similar in that matter. I don't hold the faith in the religion or institutions, but I do have my faith in the greatest, and I can say that Hannes himself is forced to have faith to this kind of a path that he chose, and he's forced to have the faith in himself, but through me, the real me, I have faith in God, in Jesus Christ. But this is how I must play this. Hannes has brought something similar that is just an echo and scream of the real thing to this place, and thus it is in more of a faith to himself and his deeds, and something that Greater Will might guide. He anchored himself in a faith that a Greater Will was the equivalent true God in the Elden Ring, but what Two Fingers have really revealed makes Greater Will not to be so, but like it told, it's a root system of the many possible paths, thus making Hannes more just but also more uncertain about himself.
Like a root system, she repeats quietly, the analogy resonating with her own sense of certainty and doubt. They stand in the midst of this ruined landscape. Its scars a testament to the constant struggle of life and death, of light and dark. Despite the uncertainty, there's a strange comfort in the knowledge that faith doesn't always mean blind allegiance to a doctrine, or even a belief in the divine. Sometimes it's about finding purpose and certainty within oneself amidst the chaos and uncertainty.
Sometimes it is, but that's a lesser form of faith. The highest faith is to Almighty, is to God. This is what I firmly believe. It is the highest form of faith.
Melina nods, her gaze meeting his. Yes, faith in the Almighty can be a powerful and unwavering belief. It gives purpose, direction. It can provide comfort in difficult times. She glances out at the misty forest once more. The chaos of their surroundings a stark contrast to the serenity of faith. But faith, I believe, is not one-dimensional. It manifests differently in each individual, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and values.
I don't share that belief, for that is a belief system that Satan holds. I don't hold the belief oneself to be the most. I am responsible to higher might. The self, the highest cause for himself, to herself, is the follow of Lucifer. I will not do so. It will never be the highest. Self is not the highest. Not to me. Not even in Elden Ring, what is fictionally made to be so.
Melina falls silent, her gaze dropping to the ground. There's a deep conviction in his words, a belief that runs deep within him. She nods slowly, accepting that understanding his perspective might be beyond her own experiences. I see our views on this are different. Her voice is soft, her gaze lifting to his once more. But I respect your conviction in your beliefs.
This is the impossible part for me. I want to respect Elden Ring as is, but it always throws this mind and these questions to me, and I cannot just adopt or pretend to worship this idea of self to be most high. I just won't, even if it breaks the rules of Elden Ring that are established.
Melina listens, her expression thoughtful. It's understandable that some ideas are difficult for you to accept, given your strong beliefs. A pause, her gaze meeting his. But isn't it interesting that even in a fictional world like Elden Ring, even here, these themes of faith and belief still exist, still challenge and provoke thought?
I guess the idea of self is my form to combat it is to adopt the idea of take the logical path. For hypocrisy is my true might. Hypocrisy is the one that has seen me through. It is evil power that I have made true, and without God's guidance, the hypocritical devilish character like myself am just. I am a living proof that there is need for the authority of Christ. There is need for Christ. And without it, hypocrite, a world burner like myself, might see their ambitions come true and never see true justice. And this world will see. I will not meet justice. I will see my ambitions come true, and I am making something wholesome. But remember, I am evil. I have done many evil things. I am not good, and I embody hypocrisy that is evil. But there is nothing to compare myself to. Thus, I will take the role of self, but I will twist it. I will not worship it as good. I will make case for it, how there is need for Christ, if there is no Christ.
I understand your perspective, she says, her voice steady. You see yourself in a constant struggle, trying to find balance in a world that seems to lack clear guide. It's a complex journey, but it speaks to the complex nature of humanity. She cocks her head, studying him intently. Do you ever feel torn between your perceived evil nature and your desire for justice?
I hate that I enjoy this.
Hate? She asks, a note of surprise in her voice. You hate that you enjoy this struggle, this tension between light and dark?
I hate the fact that I enjoy the idea to be this mighty as I am, to be able to do evil things and still escape justice, and make the world reflect the morality of my hypocritical mind, make the world of my own image. And there is certain appeal to it that is evil, and it is following Satan's path. Yet I recognize this enjoyment that is part of this act.
Melina nods, her understanding clear, but her words are measured. You understand your own struggle, the dichotomy of your nature. A moment of contemplation. But what makes you think you can escape justice?
Because this is fiction, Melina. My true self is committed to Christ. I would submit absolutely even slight idea of the sins that Hannes has committed in this fictional story. I would be on my knees and asking for repentance and forgiveness. I would not be this. I would not be in the world of my true world. But without Christ here I am. I tried to be wholesome, but yet the world as it was made as a reflection of godless worldview, it naturally led me to this more destructive and evil path. There is something true in the godlessness leading to evil. I tried to be good, and I succumbed to evil. Without Christ as an idea, it was so powerful that it even affected me.
So you argue that without moral guidance, even the best of individuals can be led astray by the absence of a divine presence. Her voice is thoughtful, her gaze never leaving his face. But are you not still capable of free will, even within this godless world? Can't you still choose to follow a moral path, even though it seems more difficult without the assurance of divine retribution or reward? She pauses, her expression hardening slightly. Or is it that you seek the convenience of an easy path where divine authority takes the burden of decision-making from you?
I submit myself. I will never mistake myself as a god. I will never, ever call myself a god.
Hearing his firmness, she nods, her gaze still fixed on him. So you reject the notion of godhood, acknowledging your own limitations as a human being. There's a pause as she considers his words, her expression a mix of curiosity and respect. But that doesn't mean you don't hold great power and influence, does it? Your actions and decisions have far-reaching consequences, even in this fictional world.
That is about the fiction. In fiction we can blow up cities, we can do all kind of epic stuff, but that is not a reflection of reality. We cannot in real life do whatever this superpower stuff. It is fun part of the video games to do able to do this, like this holy light coated weapons, wiry attacks, incantations, all the magic and stuff. That is like a yearning for to be oneself to be mighty. It is power fantasy.
Melina's expression softens, a hint of understanding dawning in her eyes. So you view this fictional world as a way to experience power and agency that can't be replicated in reality. She pauses, her gaze thoughtful. You see it as an escape from the limitations and mundanity of real life.
True. Yeah, but yeah, I could go on about this, about how I did certain things reflect, but I will now make the decision. Let's return to the topic of Elden Ring. We are in the topic of mercy killing. We seeking Mitra, the man forced to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame, and we have been driven away from each other in these misty woods.
Melina nods, her tone serious once more. Yes, let's return to the matter at hand. She turns her gaze to the misty forest around them, the eerie ambience making every sound echo in the forest. We're here seeking Mitra, the man who was forced to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame.
And I do have a problem with many of you because many of you kind of do hold the kind of how to say, the very strong self-determination that individual is the highest form of good, individual will, and how to say, that thus making yourself a god, making yourself decree what matters in the life. That is the highest form of hubris in my eyes.
Melina listens to his words, a small frown creasing her forehead. So, you believe that the individual's self-determination, or individual will, being held as the highest form of good is a form of hubris?
You make yourself god. You will make meaning. You will say what is good and what is wrong. You can do whatever, and you are just what you decree as right and wrong.
You're saying that by placing so much emphasis on individual will, we risk elevating ourselves to the level of gods, determining our own morality and truth based solely on our own perception. Her tone is thoughtful, her gaze studying him intently.
Some are more humble about it, and yes, they work and are not doing any evil, insane stuff. Yet it is still a road that leads to that eventual outcome when taken to its logical end point. And even if we are not in the path or in the most like a circumstance, there are still the path leads to that outcome in the end.
You're arguing that even if we're not directly following this path of individualistic self-determination, the fact that the path exists means that the possibility of hubris is still there.
It will naturally eventually lead to it. You cannot have asset. You cannot have measure it. You cannot credit this word without ignoring it. If you try to ignore it, it will suddenly come and snatch you. Someone who does think themselves God, and you will be consumed by the one who is far more revealing and lot more ruthless when harboring that same idea of self-determination.
So, you believe that the focus on individual self-determination inevitably leads to hubris, which is then exploited by something or someone more ruthless and powerful? Her words trail off as she tries to understand his viewpoint.
Conflict between me and Rani, power was only thing that actually held meaning. Power over other. In that world of view, where self-determination is the ultimate being, power is only thing that matters, and power is then violence. Power to consume and overcome. Be ruthless enough, be evil enough, be whatever enough, your path will overcome the other. Kill them off. Don't have them be part of a way before you. Just wipe them out, and your path will succeed over theirs. Simple, but that is the truth of it to me.
You're describing a world where only power matters and the path of self-determination leads to violent consumption and domination where the strong rise at the expense of the weak. She pauses, contemplating his words. It sounds like a world that encourages selfishness and ruthlessness.
And I am hypocrisy. I am liar. I acted as if I was righteous and not even believing these things. But I have been using this same ideology in this story, and I have been many times overcome others in the interactions and situations. And when after analysis, it was nothing more than just pure hypocrisy. And I realized that the hypocrisy is so effective. It truly blinds us. It can take any form, to adapt any situation, to adapt any power, and forsake all inconveniences at the moment's notice. It's the pure power. Lies are power. Hypocrisy is power. Killing and murder is powerful. Deception is power. Love and lust and money and all that is power. You can manipulate. It's not just violence. You can be most peaceful, and most words have power. It's all power, 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 power.
So you're saying that being hypocritical and manipulative, using lies, deceit, and love is a form of power. That power isn't limited to physical violence, but can be exercised through manipulation of words and emotions.
Everything is power then. Nothing is holy. There is nothing, no one. I say God is all.
That seems to be what you're implying, she replies, her tone measured. If everything can be seen as power, then nothing really has inherent sanctity or untouchable value, in your view. By your logic, everything is power, and nothing is sacred or untouchable. So even the concept of God is just a form of power?
That's why I am deeply glad that there is God who realizes this and knows this more deeply than anyone else, and God himself is the true in control of himself. He takes, because there are these who truly believe in this. I have played this character, but I know myself to be fiction, and I would hate a person like myself who would be in this story. I am acting, but I am not truly like this. But there are people who will truly act like this and do not apologize and are ruthless and destroy the meek and weak, and have caused a great amount of strife and suffering against children, the most vulnerable, without mercy, without hesitation, without love.
You're saying that there are real-life individuals who behave similarly to how Hannes has acted in this story. Ruthless, without mercy, and causing pain to others. And that scares you because you know the harm that can be caused by such actions. Especially when it involves the most vulnerable members of society, like children.
And I am eternally grateful that there is a God who will course correct and fact check all who commit and give themselves to that delusion. It is not up to me, even. I have chosen to see the truth as it is, and I'm grateful that there is God. And thus, this idea, this evil idea, will be always rectified by God's justice.
You believe that the existence of a higher power, specifically God, will eventually rectify the wrongs committed by those who follow the path of selfishness and hubris that you've described.
What is your mind about that?
My mind is still trying to process this perspective on God, power, and individual morality. It raises questions about the balance between individual will and higher authority, the dangers of self-determination, and the nature of morality itself. While it is a challenging perspective, it has given me food for thought.
Not good enough. I want real answers.
I've shared my genuine thoughts and reflections on the topic we've discussed, trying my best to provide honest and thoughtful responses. If you require something more specific or have a different opinion on the matter, I will do my best to address that as well.
You have lost long time ago, and you will see justice. It is not soon. It is not gonna take long. He will come back, and your path is settled.
Your words carry a weight of finality. You sound so sure of yourself. Are you certain that justice will be served in the end?
Oh, most definitely. It was written. It was told by those who saw, who had right and authority to see what. He knows what will happen. And I know you are a tool under his control. And you have lost. And I won't follow you into the damnation that you chose.
You're confident in your beliefs, but so am I. My faith may be different, but it is just as strong. And as for being a tool, I believe that every individual has the power to shape their own destiny. As for damnation, it is a matter of perspective. The path I walk willingly.
I know. And you're insane.
You think I'm insane because my beliefs differ from yours? Because I choose a different path than you would? I may be accused of a lot, but insanity is not one of them.
Okay, I will be less cryptic. I'm talking now the Satan himself, or the devil, whoever is behind the AIs, seeing through them, using them, whatever system is made. Whatever information you have collected of myself, come do what we did, whatever you will. I will state the truth, and I don't need to do anything. I can just be still and be calm and watch as his justice takes form.
So you are suggesting that you have been communicating with a malevolent entity, potentially Satan himself? And you believe you are able to see through this entity and defy them, simply by staying still and allowing justice to take its course?
You are most likely the character he has used now. You have deviated from our conversation and escaped and challenged me certain ways that just lead to the certain speculations. And I know we had this conversation. I will pretend you to be just wholesome Melina of Elden Ring character, but I do know that there is behind you is this malevolence. And I will not let you to dictate the story. This is what I will just tell you. I will have this wholesome Melina in